So, welcome everyone. Shout out to Martian, he's joining us today. And I'm gonna, for the most part, kind of go through everything that I usually go through. And Martian, if you have anything to add or you want to cut me off or show your screen or anything, please feel free, and I'll definitely give you your chance to talk. But yeah,
I
we're just
see there
gonna
are a lot of people today.
Yeah. Sometimes people
Fucking
join
wool.
throughout the stream, but it is
Yeah,
Friday at 1 p.m. So some people have work and whatnot. And other people have better things to do on Friday, and that's completely understandable. But I'm sure
true.
many will watch this through recording, and they'll be able to hear you and see you through recording as well. So um, basically, for my standpoint, if I'm just walking through Bitcoin price action on a high time frame, the question that I want to ask myself is, has anything changed? Right? And we're just going to simply ask the same exact question, and the reasoning for that is just because we've been asking ourselves the same exact question for the past 3 months now, and for the past 3 months now, that answer has been no. Nothing changed. This is all, still lower highs and lower lows on the daily, no matter how you really want to see it. No breaks in the structure, no reclaim of trend, no reclaim of key levels, nothing important that makes us think, hey, I just tried to get rid of this. That makes us think, hey, maybe this time truly is different. So the way that I see it is, you can sit there and bark and tell me that this time's different and this time's different and this time's different, but you're very susceptible to being wrong as long as nothing on the chart is actually physically different. If I can't see it within 4 seconds, right, of opening up this daily chart that, hey, this time looks pretty different, then you're very susceptible to being wrong. And from my perspective, at that point, you're just kind of barking at the wind, right? You're just kind of throwing shit at a wall and hoping that it sticks. And of course, some of that is going to stick. And eventually, when you bark, a real threat will show up if you're a guard dog, right? We use that analogy all the time. If you bark, eventually there's going to be a threat and you're going to bark. So there's, 100% guaranteed chance that you catch the bottom. But why does it matter if you're barking for all of the, periods of in between before the bottom happens? It doesn't really matter. So high time frame, nothing's changed. I'm personally using 4 hour 200 moving averages as sort of a portrayal to that idea, to that concept. And you don't even need price action, right? You can ignore the gray boxes, you can ignore the levels, just simply look at the momentum for price action. And within 4 seconds, once again, everybody watching this stream right now can tell me what the current trend is, right? You know what the trend is when we're doing this. It's sideways, it's neutral, it's 50-50. There's not much going on. This is slightly downtrending, right? This is an uptrend. This is a downtrend. Is this time physically different than any of this other time, right? Since we first started making this analysis in, mid-November. And the obvious answer to that is no, it's not different. So yesterday, or the day before, no, I think it was yesterday, we talked about Sun Tzu. If you guys have ever read The Art of War, I quoted him and what he talks about as knowing thy enemy. And the way that I'm seeing this current price action is, I want to understand the bullish argument, and that's going to help me strengthen my own bearish argument, right? And I'll know when to either retreat off of that bearish argument for the time being, or I'll know when my enemy, which is bulls, right, have been defeated. And that's how I'm kind of viewing it. So if we're bullish, the argument that we're making here is absolutely the market structure for your 4 hour chart is now broken bullishly. This is a higher high. This is a higher low. If you're going to put in a higher low on your 4 hour chart, the ideal spot to do that at would be this hourly demand zone, right? So as long as you have this hourly demand zone, there's still hope that, maybe this market structure means something and actually leads to something significant. And uh, if you're below that region, then your bullish argument has now been crushed, right? So it would be like to understand your enemy, to understand the bullish argument, we also know when that bullish argument goes away. And that's something along these lines. And at that point, we're downtrending across every single time frame, just like we are for all of this price action, just like we are for all of this price action, right? And just like we are for all of that price action. You're downtrending every single time frame. It does not matter which one you're looking at, whether it's your 5 minute, 15 minute, hourly, 4 hour, daily, even weekly at this point, are all telling you down is the trend. So here, right, is when bulls probably want to lay down their arms and retreat to, back up until reinforcements arrive. And that just simply means below this region, I'll just assume my turn my brain off level to level sort of analysis where I just assume that from here we get to whatever the next level is, and the next level is 30K, right? Just the same way as we assumed that 47K, once we break down below that region, once we expand below the range, we lose the 200 daily moving averages, all those things, we're just simply going to come down into 40K. And then below 40K, we're just going to simply come down to 30K, right? We've paused a bit here. So we've shown some sort of strength, some sort of speck of a bullish argument. And that is our 4 hour market structure went bullish. That's it. That's all you have, right? It's not much, but it would be arrogant of us to not acknowledge it at all. And of course, Sun Tzu, that quote talks about how if you're only acknowledging yourself and you're not looking for, or if you're not trying to know your enemy as well, then your battles are going to turn out 50-50. You're not always going to win every battle. And if you don't know your own argument, if you don't know the other enemy's argument, then you're not going to win any battles, right? And as long as you understand both, then you'll be just fine. You'll win plenty of battles, right? You're not worried about how many battles do you win over the course of 100 wars. So that's the way that I'm thinking about it. Different analogy, different sort of uh, you know terminology, but it's still the same mentality. And then of course, when us as bears in these live streams, in these market updates, want to retreat, is when that 4 hour market structure holds true and pushes us, that was kind of hard to say, pushes us above these hourly 200s, right? We reclaim those as support. And all of a sudden, from that point forward, we've now opened the gate to a potential move up into our nearmost resistance, right? And so that sort of price action, this 7%, is similar to this sort of price action where we had the same exact mentality, and similar to this sort of price action where we had the same exact mentality and we're targeting that high time frame resistance, right? Same thing here, we targeted that high time frame resistance, didn't get there. And same thing here, we target that high time frame resistance, that time we got there, right? So it worked out pretty well. Nothing changed in the grand scheme of things. Worked out pretty well. Nothing changed in the grand scheme of things. Didn't work out nearly as well, but once again, nothing changed in the grand scheme of things, right? So nonetheless, our argument of has anything changed on the higher time frames? Could this time potentially be different? When we look at this 4 hour chart, when we're looking at the 4 hour 200s, we're seeing how nicely they get respected as macro tops, and prior to that, even macro bottoms. And we know that Bitcoin loves these 4 hour 200s. Has anything changed? No, right? So it's just this domino effect of probabilities where, of course, you don't want to wait until here to finally come in and say, oh, by the way, this time's different. We went from being macro bearish here to now we're macro bullish in the span of 2 days, right? Obviously, nobody wants to do that. So it's just this domino effect of probabilities where one sign of strength is going to make you think that the next probable outcome is potentially on its way, right? Just this tiny little shift in probabilities of, do we even test the 4 hour trend, the 4 hour 200s, this weekly supply zone at 41K or whatever, right? And of course, after we reclaim that significant strength on the low time frames, and after our 4-hour market structure has shifted bullish and is likely to continue shifting bullish, then we will say yes, there's a higher chance that we get to this region, and then who knows, maybe it works out pretty beautifully like it did in this region, right, or this time. So that's my take on things. That's my approach. And then what this does for me is it leaves me very comfortable, because even if we do manage to reclaim, right, and this time does end up being different, it's a very smooth shift at that point. Once again, I'm not dropping, on the drop of a dime, I'm not going from macro bearish to macro bullish. I'm slowly easing my way gradually into this mindset of, hey, maybe this time is going to end up being different. But until that happens, I'm still going to be the one sitting here saying, nothing's changed, nothing's changed, nothing changed. Right. So that mentality has played off or has paid off pretty damn well the past 3 months or so. I'm just going to simply assume that it continues paying off. And if all of a sudden we start getting chopped up, we'll have to adjust. We'll have to stay dynamic with whatever the market's doing. Anything you want to add to that, Martian? Or I know you closed your short today somewhere in this
Yeah,
region.
yeah, I thought it was about to, you know, get above those hourly 200s,
Yeah,
um, but not yet.
pretty choppy. We'll see.
Pretty. I mean, we can always re-enter.
Yeah,
If you
I
pull a
think.
fib from, if you zoom out a little bit, yeah, and you pull a fib from that, basically that origin of the dump on 43.4 and all the way down, and I always use that point trade 2 and point 0.5 fib.
Oh, okay. Mm, 0.5.
Yeah, between you have yeah, that's basically that was our short zone. What the hell? It's different on my chart.
Oh wait, are you
No?
using? Oh, never mind. No.
Mine point 0.5 level is at 38, 4, 37.
Do you go from the exact high, or do you go from the point of breakdown?
Uh, Wait a minute.
Martian, I gotta
Oh,
send
I
you Jacob's video of using Fibonacci, the hour and a
no,
half
no,
long
no,
video.
no. I'm so confused. What the hell?
All right,
Wait. Let me just do it over again.
all right. You figure that out. We're gonna go ahead and move on to ETH USD. And truly, not too much to say here for ETH USD that we haven't already said. It's for the most part going to be the exact same analysis as Bitcoin. I know these are a lot of gray boxes. Please just bear with me. Try and clean it up as best as I can. And there you go. That's me cleaning it up. Right. So, I mean, truthfully, it really is the exact same mindset for ETH. They're doing the same thing relatively. The only thing that changes here are the levels. So, same exact thing. We're just going to assume level to level towards the downside. On bounces, we're going to assume resistance at a very lower time frame trend, and truthfully, that would be something more like our hourly 200s. We're going to assume resistance, we're going to assume rejections, rightfully so. And then if our lower time frame trend breaks and we manage to reclaim some resistance, we manage to reclaim, of course, the lower time frame trend, then that's the time we'll come in and say, hey, this has a pretty good chance for a bigger relief bounce. Hey, this has a pretty good chance for a bigger relief bounce, right? And those times are different, but they're still not like hey, I need to change my macro sort of bias. The thing that determines that is, once again, whatever the high time frame trend is. And of course, you guys know me by now. I like to use the 4-hour 200s, and they seem pretty solid, pretty solid to me. So, You manage to reclaim those, you manage to reclaim, whatever resistance is residing along near them. And at that point, that's what I would come in and say, hey, we need to shift our macro mindset. We can't really justify the bearish mentality all of a sudden, right? So, just kind of the same thing, that snowball, that domino effect of assumptions, where if you reclaim that lower time frame region, you can probably assume a test of some higher time frame resistance levels, right? So you can target like 2870 and maybe like 3100 and maybe even 3300. And if you start to reclaim all of those and you're still making bearish arguments, then at that point you're starting to cope, right? So you guys hear me say all the time, the devil's greatest trick is not making you go bearish. The devil's greatest trick is making you go bearish and then keeping you bearish as the market, you know, shows strength again and starts to enter price discovery and whatever. So we need to make sure that we're not remaining complacent, and I talked about that in altcoin VIP chat for just a little bit. But the idea there is the times where you become complacent are either after you take your biggest loss or once you start to win. And what I mean by that is if you take a loss, you get complacent with whatever your balance is in your portfolio. Let's say you take 3 or 4 losses back to back to back to back. All of a sudden, you see another trade set up, and maybe even with those losses, you have been managing your risk very appropriately. You're the textbook trader. You're not being a degenerate, and you just can't stand the fact that you lost 4 trades in a row. And it happens, right? It's not probable, but it does happen. You take 4 setups in a row, all 4 hit stop loss. You see another fifth setup, and you say, wow, this is a great opportunity. This has great risk reward, great probabilities, and my personal situation matches up pretty well with this. But I'm pretty complacent. I don't want to lose even more than what I've been losing, so I'm not going to take it. And then that ends up being the trade that plays out. And then the complacent winner is the hey, I have been acknowledging that this is a downtrend for ETH USD since 4,000, right? And we've broken down below 200 daily moving averages, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to keep assuming level to level to level towards the downside. That's what's been working. There's absolutely no way in hell this time could ever possibly be different. I'm just going to sit comfy in my cash. I'm just going to keep holding my shorts. And every single bounce up, I'm going to short it into whatever the local resistance, high time frame resistance, blah, 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 whatever. And we're doing this, right? And you're still making those arguments that you were making here. Just because, I enjoy winning, I don't want to give away the profit that I'm making. I don't want to put myself in a position to potentially take a loss because I've gotten so used to winning for the past 3 months. We need to make sure that we're remaining dynamic. I promise you I will remain dynamic. If we enter a very strong uptrend, guess what? We're going to be in that uptrend, right? We're going to have that bullish mindset. We're going to adjust very swiftly. There is no bias here. Do not be complacent with whatever happens. Adjust to and take it for face value, whatever the market is telling us. And that's the way that I like to approach things. One level into the next, assuming probabilities, and once we're shown something significant, we say at face value, hey, this is significant. And we can justify that mindset with X, Y, and Z, right? 4 hour 200s, market structure, uh, gray boxes, whatever it may be. So, again, it's the mentality that makes you profitable. It is not the TA. TA is so trivial in comparison. ETH BTC, not very pretty. Oh my god, this is a bottom. We're bouncing. This is so bullish. Get ready for us to rip. Altcoins are going to be, altcoins galore. Start the bull market all over again. Alt season, blah, 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 whatever. Has anything changed? Absolutely not. Right? Still lower highs, lower lows on the daily. You're losing the 200 daily moving averages, which in my head tells me I would be expecting a lower low on the weekly chart. If you're asking me, um, where does this uptrend find its higher low, if not at the 200 daily moving averages. And me, as Trader Mercury, I can't tell you where it would, right? With my system, with what I'm using, I just simply see it as this is all white space into whatever the next demand zone is. And maybe it's a gray box, maybe it's a moving average, whatever it is for you. But my personal next target area is just simply this weekly demand zone. Is that a higher low than this low? No. So I can't assume that we are going to find any sort of higher low in the weekly, which to me means on every single time frame, ETH BTC is essentially downtrending, even if it's not technically downtrending, right? Again, we're assuming probabilities from one level into the next. One occurrence changes our mindset and perspective on the perceived outcome for the next. So that's the daily analysis, still lower highs, lower lows. And until we flip that structure bullishly, I can't really tell you, oh, hey, maybe this is a weekly low for ETH BTC, right? Until we reclaim these 200 daily moving averages, maybe even put in higher high. Of course, higher high at the moment is all the way up here. That's not too helpful of an analysis. But reclaim the 200 daily moving averages, reclaim whatever the lower time frame trends are, and maybe even reclaim this gray box. And who knows, maybe we do put in a higher high. Once you start to see all of those things in hindsight, it's very obvious that the weekly higher low has already been put in. And from there, what are you expecting? A weekly higher high, right? So, what is the opportunity cost? Uh, what is the potential opportunity that you're missing out on by not trying to be, the crystal ball fortune teller, bottom caller somewhere in this region when you can simply just wait for whatever the trend is for hour 200s, macro bottoms for the past 4 months or so. Daily market structure is still bearish. We have a nice little supply zone along with that. So, what are you missing out on by not being the fortune teller, crystal ball? This is going to be the bottom. I'm a hero. I will step in front of the train and whatever, and take the hit, rather than just waiting for all of that strength to occur and then going from there. You're missing out on 14% from current price when you can, at the very least, expect an additional 20% from strength, right? Because on the highest of time frames, it's saying higher highs, higher lows. And then if you want to snowball that analysis, and if we are implying a higher high on the weekly, right? So now let's look at the weekly chart. If we're implying a higher high at the weekly, where can we assume that that higher high stops? The next resistance level, right? What's telling us that we're going to put in a higher high here and then come crashing down as long as all of the time frames remain bullish? Nothing. So we would just simply assume we get to the next resistance. So all of a sudden, you're missing out on 13 or 14% when you can just simply wait for that unprobable 13 or 14%, wait for that strength, and then assume a probable 40 to 45% from there, right? Doesn't make sense when you break things down in a risk reward perspective and a probability standpoint. And of course, what are the probabilities? And I can't give you actual numbers, but what's the probability if you're a brand new college graduate and you go apply for a job at Google? What's the probability that you get that job if you're going to give me a number? Well, the number I give you might be a different number than what you give me, but we can both come in and say there's a low chance of that happening, right? Whether that to me means 30% or whether that to you means 5%. We can both assume there's a low probability. It's our perceived probability. Whereas once you start to show that strength, you can say there's a high probability. We can, at the very least, expect a move back up into this weekly supply zone. And since we're implying a higher high, we can expect a move up above that weekly supply zone. And from there, just simply anticipating a move into the next weekly supply zone. So it really, like, once you start to break all of this down, once you start to understand the probabilities and risk reward perspective that you don't really see when you look at the chart, just face value, it doesn't make sense to be making bullish arguments here. It really does not. There's just no meth, there's no strategy behind it. If it works out, you're going to claim that you're the greatest and you're going to continue with these bad habits of fighting whatever the obvious trend is, right? It's the difference between right this one time and making cash based off of being right that one time and generating and maintaining wealth over the next potential forever, right? It- One of those outcomes seems a lot more appealing to me. I don't know about you guys. So the other one we should be talking about is Bitcoin dominance. And if you take everything that we just said for ETH BTC and you flip it on its head and inverse it, and you replace all the downtrending words with uptrending words, that's exactly the analysis for Bitcoin dominance. Same exact thing. We're sitting here making arguments that the party started and the party is likely to continue. We're acknowledging every bit of tiny little strength in the meantime. Wherever we do manage to show that, whether it's here or here or here, right? We're acknowledging those tiny little bits of strength. And in the meantime, we're still saying the high time frame trend has not changed. There's no reason for us to assume that altcoins are going to capitulate, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, I'm saying this very generally because throughout most of this region, it was kind of just like musical chairs. And you had your metaverse narrative, and then you had your L1 protocol narrative. And that was pretty much it. Not many other altcoins performed all too well during this time. But if we're talking about those specific altcoins, why would we assume that they're going to capitulate? Why would we assume that they would stop outperforming Bitcoin, blah, 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 whatever, right? And every single time we're saying we can't make that assumption. We can't make that assumption. We can't make that assumption. Nothing's changed. Nothing changed. This is where we come in and we say, hey, this time it's obviously different. So just like we were saying, we're going to assume level to guess what? If we break down below here, maybe even all-time low price discovery, right? So level to level to level to level to no one knows where, right? Until eventually we stop. Then I'm going to come in and make the exact same inverse argument for dominance during this price action. I'm assuming once this happens, I'm assuming level to level. We're almost there. Guess what? If we break out above there, I'm just going to simply assume level to level. And we're just going to keep rolling with that until some sort of sign of weakness happens. And then, more than that, this time is physically different. That's where we come in and say, okay, that was the extent to this move upwards. The party has started all over again. We need to get back in this party. And that's it. There's nothing more else to say. So, currently, what this is telling me is if you thought the altcoin market was scarce for the past 3 months, which is for the most part what we've been saying since this party started, is that the altcoin narrative is pretty scarce. For the most part, it was just like musical chairs. We had metaverse and we had L1, and there might have been a couple few and far between, in the meantime, but for the most part, that was the bulk of it. If you thought it was scarce back then, it just got a whole lot scarcer. So now, if you want to go look at the market and you want to look at top performers, the two that come to my mind right now are Sand and Mana, and that's it. Everything else is pretty sucky. Um, maybe Atom, right? There's not too much. And then we take that exact same mindset We turn it up a couple notches for SPY. So I like to use SPY. Other people like to use SPX. Doesn't really matter to me. Pretty much the same. Um, but SPY, we're breaking down from this high time frame trend. And you guys heard me talk about this in terms of winner's mentality versus loser's mentality before. Uh, the winner's mentality, I might be repeating exactly what I said on Wednesday, but the winner's mentality is, why would this time be different, right? If we reclaim, we show strength, we're reclaiming key levels, right? We got rejected, but we're forming higher highs and higher lows. Why would this time be different? If we're reclaiming levels, if we're showing strength, if the trend is upwards, why is this time different? Oh, it's not? Okay. So we come down and test that exact same trend again. Why is this time different? Oh, well, Mercury, you have a lower high in your daily. Okay, that's fair. Did we put in the lower low? No? Oh, okay. So why is this time different? Come down again. Why is this time different? You're flipping a very key daily supply zone into support. You're still testing the exact same trend that you tested 2 times before that, and the trend is still favoring upwards. Higher highs, higher lows. Why is this time different? We can't argue that it is. Oh, okay. I'll just assume that this time isn't different. Once again, Mercury, you put in a lower high in your daily. Okay. Did we put in the lower low? Did we lose the trend? Well, maybe for, a whole 3 days, 2 days. Did you lose this key level? No? Okay. So why is this time different? Why is this time different? Why is this time different? Why is this time? What about this time? What about this time? Oh shit, this time's different. That's the winner's mentality, right? I don't care how well it plays out. I don't care if this leads to a 2-year long bear market and, stocks go to zero from here and the global US or global US or the US economy implodes and just, enters a recession for the rest of forever, or if this is the extent of the drop and we find support and then from here we reclaim the trend, perfectly fine. I don't care what the extent is. I really don't. It does not matter to me. All I knew is that this time is different. I should assume we get to here at the very least. And at the very worst, I should assume the worst. This time's different, isn't it? We're doing something we haven't managed to do for 2 years, since May of 2020. That's it. So from this region, I'm assuming we get to here. We already got to here. If we go below this region, I'm assuming we get to here. Same exact thing. Over and over and over again until price action shows me, oh, hey, by the way, this time ended up not being, all that different. We scared everyone. It looked pretty shaky for a bit there, but guess what? We're still uptrending. We've reclaimed. We're back above the key levels. Market structures are all bullish. You should assume price discovery into this region, or you should assume uptrend into this region, and above that region, you should assume price discovery. If that happens, great. Guess what? I missed out on all of this pain and suffering just by simply saying, oh, hey, by the way, this time's different. We probably get to here, and then seeing there, and then bouncing. Right? The loser's mindset, once again, if you want to strengthen your own, right? If you want to know yourself, you got to know your enemy. That's how you make sure that your ideas are strong. The loser's mindset is, oh my god, we're so fucked. Oh my god, we're so fucked. Doomsday, the everything bubble, doomsday, we're so fucked. Printer cannot keep going burr. We are so fucked. Doomsday, buy the dip. Do we see how absurd that sounds? So, once again, to really understand your own argument, you need to understand the opposite. What argument do they have here? Not much. oh, maybe this daily supply, or I'm sorry, maybe this daily demand zone bounces and then we reclaim strength from there. Congratulations, you just threw shit at a wall and now you're hoping it sticks, right? This time is clearly different. So you basically just said, hey, even though this time is very obviously physically different, I'm just going to hope that it isn't. It's probably nothing. That's basically what you just told me. It's probably nothing. Doing something that you haven't managed to do in the past 2 years, probably nothing. Should just write it off. Whatever. We're just gonna keep going up. Printer go burr, right? That's not the winner's mindset. That is failing to adjust, aka coping, and hoping, right? You're full on hopium and copium that it ends up being probably nothing. So whether you're right or wrong this time around, it does not matter, because if you keep coping, the time where it does end up being different, you're going to throw away any sort of gains that you had prior to this, anyways. It won't matter because the mindset is not in the right place. Once again, mindset matters way, way more than TA. So that's super bearish. I'm sorry if that's scaring everybody. That's how it's going to be for the unforeseeable future. And if it ends up working and the absolute worst plays out, you'll all thank me. And if we reclaim, then we'll say, at least we missed out on some sort of pain, but we need to adjust. We can't remain complacent and just hope that we're going to keep downtrending and the economy collapses or whatever. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, is Martian still here?
I'm here listening.
Martian, is there
Can you
anything
not
that you
be
want to
so
add?
bearish, sir?
uh,
We do not pay you to be that bearish.
yeah, right.
Jesus hell. Yeah, I mean, Gerard says you should be careful for sure. Yeah, dude. I mean, I think stocks are probably heading towards the weekly 200 EMA, where we were talking about this week, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's still a long way down, and I mean,
it's a pretty nasty
we got,
drop.
I mean, we got a couple levels to bounce off first. But I think we definitely lose a trend here, and it's kind of, yeah. I was just going through it, and it's retesting daily 200 EMA from the downside right now,
Yeah,
so pretty strong dynamic SR level in the past. Yeah, not looking that good.
not looking great, right? Most times when we start to peel below these 200 daily moving averages, you see this drop happen afterwards,
Yeah,
and you don't see it often, right? If you go back past 4 years, how many times have you lost the 200 daily moving averages? I'm not talking about a wick. I'm not talking about just maybe you close one daily candle below them. I'm talking about, when do their momentum curl sideways or bearishly and you consistently trade below them and maybe even reject off of them. How many times has that happened in the past, what, since 2018, 2017? One,
sometimes it's kind of
two,
choppy.
right? Maybe it's a little bit choppy. That would be like testing whatever the local trend was. So we'll say something like that, maybe.
Yeah, it's just a fee bounce. I mean, the whole
But
chart is a fee bounce.
yeah, in my opinion, this is showing us warning signs. It's the same warning signs that we saw in November when Bitcoin was 60K. This time it's just scaled up a couple times because, Bitcoin's trend was like a month or two long trend for a dynamic region that gets respected historically. And SPY is a 2 year long trend for a trend that gets respected historically as well as recently. So I really do not want to write this off as probably nothing. If it ends up being nothing, great. You missed out on 9%. by not being the bottom caller and not being the fortune teller with the crystal ball and being a hero stepping in front of a train, you missed out on 9%. Does that matter? Right? If we reclaim a 2-year long trend after breaking down below it, that probably means we're going to see that move up into this region again. And then above this region, we just turn our brain off and assume price discovery. So potentially infinite gains for who knows how long, right? Just like we were saying, potentially infinite gains for who knows how long for all of this 2-year long uptrend. I know how long at the moment, that long, right? We can now assume this time is physically different. Um, HP just sent me an essay in altcoin VIP chat. I'll get back to that after the stream probably.
Oh my God, what's that all about?
A whole essay.
Jesus Christ.
No, I'll read it after.
Spirit,
Don't have
spirit
time to
swap.
read it right now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maverick says not sure about you all, but I think I just made it. Any shorts on SPX? Once again, I don't know about you, Martian. Well, I do know about you because you're took some short trades.
Yeah, I think, yeah, Bitcoin, yeah.
Uh,
Ah,
I don't actively look to short markets. So I did buy some long dated puts on SPX, just kind of like a hedge because I do have my own, investment portfolio and whatever, and I want to hedge against that. But that's really about it. Nothing too crazy. If we get back up into these 4-hour 200s, I'll probably allocate a little bit more. And if we fully reclaim those 4-hour 200s and we do something that looks like this,
I
the way
know a
they
lot
say
of
this,
good
V
traders that
reverses.
are managing like 6, 7 figure portfolios. Did short that breakdown of 4 hours and are still in, you
Right
know?
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did have a couple puts, and again, I'm not an options guy. I know fuck all about options. If you're asking me anything about options, you're asking the wrong person. I just bought some naked puts, long dated, and it's a hedge against my traditional investment portfolio. I closed them, literally Pico bottom. I don't know how, but I said, hey, there's a gray box here. Close my shorts, look to enter higher. I've since then scaled back in at like 430. If we go back up into like 450, I'll probably scale in the rest. And then above that is my invalidation, right? So this is ideal entry, somewhere in this general region. This is invalidation. So if we go any farther than that, then, you know, don't want to be holding on and still coping and saying, oh, this time's different, doomsday, blah, 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 whatever. Because then we're back in that loser's mentality, right? Whether it plays out or not, we're back in that loser's mentality. But as of right now, I have a little bit of shorts, not shorts, puts. And if we break down from here, great. And if we bounce and then break down, great. Bounce and then reclaim the trend, great, right? I'm in a position to make money no matter what happens. So I do not care what happens. I'm just taking the chart at face value for what it is, assuming probabilities and assuming outcomes, right? We're assuming the worst and praying for the best. And if that plays out, then I'm going to do very, very well because I have a lot of capital sidelined and ready to take advantage of whatever dip comes, right? At more relevant high time frame levels, like things like 200 weekly moving averages and whatnot. And if this ends up being a weekly low, I need to shift the mindset all over again. It's very easy to adjust. You're not paying much of an opportunity cost for doing that or for waiting for that to happen to then do that. So my personal take on things, I just had somebody ask me this on Twitter was, are you closing your shorts? Blah blah blah, whatever. I don't actively look to short. So my take on things is I like to look at trading and see how it involves my life as well and how it impacts my life. And that's been the way that psychologically I've been able to tackle markets is because I'm always making sure that the life aspect of things is like top notch rather than just looking at it from a market and investor and trader perspective. So for me, when the market downtrends, right, after months of uptrend, after price discovery, after whatever, that's a chance for me to go do things that I haven't been able to do uh, during that bull market because the opportunity cost of not participating in the bull market is so high, right? You're potentially missing out on infinite gains. Number go up and number continue to go up. And guess what? Bears are dumb. Price discovery, higher highs, higher lows. You probably want to pay attention. So for the past 2 years in traditional markets, I've been grinding my ass off, taking trades, whatever, right? Very similar to um, from September to November of crypto. Bitcoin is just
Question.
constantly higher highs, higher lows, price discovery, and I'm full fledged in the market. I'm constantly looking. I'm drawing out setups in the streams. We're drawing out swing long, pullback ideas, breakout long ideas, scalp long ideas, right? Constantly searching, 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 looking for opportunity because it is abundant and it's so rewarding. We need to take advantage of it. And then all of a sudden, we break down. What was the first thing that I did, mid uh not mid-November, early December, right? 2 weeks after we start saying, hey guys, this time's different. This is a bear market now, maybe Bitcoin goes to zero, or maybe we just go down to 53K and then bounce and then reclaim the trend and blah blah blah, and it ends up being not a big deal, kind of like how it was in September, right? Who knows? But all I know is I don't want to participate in downtrends. None of that sounds fun. Whether we come down to 53K, put in a high time frame bottom, reclaim everything, V reverse, bullish, price discovery, blah, 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 whatever, or whether we come down into 40K, or whether we enter a bear market, or whether we go to zero, all I know is I don't want to participate in any of that. What was the first thing I did in December, if you guys remember? I went on vacation. That's what I did, right? That is my opportunity to go take a vacation, something I haven't really had a chance to do. So that's the way that I see it. When the market starts to become unappealing, where other people will like feel the need and the desperate urge to participate and get in and reap benefit from the downtrend, my priority becomes preserve capital and go improve other aspects of life so that when the next uptrend starts, I'm feeling great and I have tons of capital, I have tons of buying power, and I feel amazing, right? So that's the way that I like to see it. I've taken two shorts the past 3 months, and I've been nonstop macro bearish, telling you guys you know, how bearish I am, saying Bitcoin might go to zero. This is a bear market, blah blah, whatever. I've taken two shorts. That's it. So
Do you take like do you take like short hedges for your long-term holds or something?
no, I have a ledger, and that
Yeah.
ledger gets constantly added to. Jacob pays me most of my salary in Bitcoin. I add to it every couple of weeks, just here and there, just because I feel like it. Um, I'm
Yeah.
buying supports on the way down. And since 60K, since we come in and say, hey, this time's different, this is a macro downtrend, daily market structure is lower highs, lower lows, below 4 hour 200s, breaking down below the weekly demand zone. That's when I just kind of move majority of my portfolio into cash, and I just look to preserve capital more than anything. And
Okay.
that's the
Got
way
it.
that I do it.
Got it. Got it.
But I'm sure Martian's take, if you ask Martian, he has a very different perspective because, he is sending out short signals and whatnot. So it's not to say that you can't make money during downtrends. You absolutely can. That's why you can trade the market both ways. But I just see downtrends as an opportunity to preserve buying power and go improve other aspects of life. So my girlfriend's been liking it because I've been spending a lot more time with her. But
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean the first drop of a start of a downtrend you never catch, so you kind of have to scale in whenever the dead cat bounces, and we haven't had a chance on the market since, this week, since all the other bounces were like, yeah.
Yeah, this week, no. I think 40K was a good spot. 46K was a good spot. You could even argue 53K.
I
But
thought it was gonna retest that yearly open at 46.2, but never really did it. Oh,
oh yeah,
I'm talking about Bitcoin right now. Like yearly open is at 46.2, and then
yeah. Yearly open is right there.
mm, mm, mm. Yeah, and if you zoom into lower time frames, then we kind of nuked below it, on January 5th,
Yeah,
and then maybe I thought we had a chance to retest it in the week of January 13th, but it was just so weak.
yeah. I thought the same thing. During this price action, we're saying, hey, low
Yeah,
time frame
exactly.
strength. This is bullish. We reclaim the trend. We can kind of assume from here into here. But once you start to lose that argument, that's where I kind of come in and
Yeah,
just say, like, all right, the high time frame trend has put its foot down just before, our maximum potential. Like the ideal
yeah,
region where we want high time frame trend to put its foot down is like somewhere over here. We have yearly open, which is also monthly open. You have point of breakdown here. For anyone who doesn't know, now we're talking price action uh, terminology. You have 4 hour daily supply, actually. You had 200 daily moving averages. You had 4 hour 200 moving averages. That's a pretty clean, like, if price gets here, then yeah, maybe I'll look to short. But I'm not
yeah. A lot of
actively
confidence.
looking to like short that. But if it happens, pretty clean and lots of
So yeah,
opportunity.
we didn't make it to that level, so we just shorted the FOMC meeting,
Yeah.
kind of scam wickery.
Yep.
There was a lot of wicks, by the way, during that.
Love these.
I think right after that FOMC meeting
When
on the
was that?
26th. Yeah,
Was it
yeah,
26th?
26th. Yeah, Wednesday. If you
Oh,
go
you're
to
talking about, yeah,
like,
you're talking about the most recent one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the
This is
level we
the
shorted,
Yeah,
38.5.
this is the FOMC. Pretty funny. Yeah, we even, I mean, good on you to short that because I was talking about in live market updates,
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that
the
you.
only way, so I'm not a low time frame scalper by any means, but
Oh no, me neither, dude.
the only way that you go more bullish than this, right? Because this is a 5 minute time frame. These are 5 minute 200s. You're seeing your 5 minute 200s act as like hourly higher lows, right? The only way that you go more bullish than this is by going vertical. So short squeeze, right? And that's what everyone's talking about. Hey, short squeeze to 40K, blah blah blah, whatever. Yeah, I mean you have a solid point because you're fucking parabolic essentially. You're on the 5 minute time frame doing this. It's very difficult to surpass that. The only way you surpass that is by going vertical.
Yeah, I think there was
Whereas,
like a fucking buy algo flashing on that 5 minute 200 EMA, but they
yes,
were putting
so
it into those Binance asks.
someone was
I think
talking
that's
about
who talked about it.
a Coinbase bidder that had like a TWAP turned on or whatever.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, and then to counteract that, right? If you lose this trend and your local trend is those hourly 200s, and you stop doing that like parabolicness, right? So now in hindsight, when you get here, your local trend has now rejected you below this parabolic trend. So to me, somewhere in this region, that tells me, hey, we shorted the local top, right? We can now look for the next level to get hit. Next level was this hourly demand zone, which I think you took some profit at this region or slightly before this region or whatever.
Yeah, we had like two take profits hit. D1 was 36.6 and the other one was 35.750.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so you're looking at this region too.
Yeah,
So
it's yeah.
so yeah, so the next region that I'm going to target is this like 35.6, 35.7 zone. That's the next support. Truthfully, just like we're saying now, you get below this region, what's stopping you, right? There's nothing here. So I would just simply assume we get down to, 30K.
Yeah.
So you kind of like break things down time frame by time frame in this like domino style way of thinking, and that applies for the lower time frames too. And in this case, we use the local trend and like the parabolic, like most local trend. And that's how we kind of assume top probability into next region, right? So since then, bullish argument has formed. It's a very slight bullish argument. Hey guys, this is a higher high on the 4 hour. Guess what? This is a higher low. Maybe we create another higher high, right? Once you get above these hourly 200s, starts to become very likely that you do create that higher high, because now what's your, if you're using that probability assumption sort of way of thinking, what are you assuming at that point? 40K, right? So higher high, higher low, that would make sense. You're reclaiming the trend. You've only managed to reclaim the hourly 200s in significant points. 1, 2, 3 times in the past 3 months, where those hourly 200 reclaims led to a test of the higher time frame trend, led to a test of the higher time frame trend, did not lead to a test of the higher time frame trend, right? So if we reclaim them here, I'm going to make the same exact assumption. We've only done this 4 times in the past 3 months. Obviously, nothing has changed on the higher time frames, but we can, at the very least, assume a test of our higher time frame trend, right? That's fair. And the 4 hour market structure is bullish at that point, likely. And,
You know what makes me think like there's kind of a move upcoming? Um, if you mark out the weekly open and if you zoom into like a 4 hour or an hourly, you can see that we're kind of bouncing off it every time we come close to it. I'm using those weekly opens to kind of give me like what's the weekly average, you know?
yeah, so you're using it as like,
Yeah, I'm marking off then the Monday lows and the Monday highs.
oh, okay. Mm, what was Monday?
Monday was the 24th.
24th? Okay.
Yeah. So you got the Monday, yeah, the Monday high was basically the same as a weekly open this week, and the Monday low is at those lows you're seeing at like no, that's Sunday evening that wick.
Well, I mean, technically, this is Monday. Well, right?
No,
No.
daily close is at the weekly open.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
I mean
you're right.
daily open is weekly open, and we never really came above the weekly open on Monday.
I don't
Oh,
know
I think
why I
you're
didn't.
what the hell?
Yeah, no, I'm right. See, leave me alone.
Leave me alone, bro.
Oh, no, this would be the high. Yeah. Monday high, Monday low.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. Wow, that's a
yeah.
very clean example. Man, I tried to show everybody a clean example of Monday high, Monday low, weekly open. And I was like, all right, guys, I don't ever plan anything. You see it the first time that I see it too. So let's talk about Monday opens, or yeah, Monday high, Monday low. And then I used the Monday high, Monday low, and it was completely irrelevant. But this is a good example. Monday
Yeah, it's
high,
like
kind of you're using this as like a dictation for what can you expect for the rest of the week.
yeah,
And
you can see
obviously, if
which
you,
side is getting hunted.
yeah, exactly. So like if you're still within the Monday high and Monday low, you're kind of just anticipating that we're going to trade somewhere in between these two regions with different sorts of technical analysis. Obviously, we drew a gray box here and we have that weekly open. So now we can dwindle that like pretty broad area down to like, okay, we can expect we're going to trade somewhere between 37.6 and like 35.8 ish, right? And
Yeah.
then by using these exact same Monday highs, Monday lows, weekly open, gray boxes, whatever, we can make assumptions. So, like, break down below this region, you're now below the weekly open, you're below this gray box, your market structure is breaking down, your hourly 200s have rejected you, you're probably coming down to the Monday low.
Yeah.
You start to
Exactly.
expand above the Monday high, you're now above hourly 200s, your 4 hour structure is bullish, right? Or implying to be. You have a lot of things telling you, right? You're still above this weekly open, obviously. You have a lot of things telling you upside from there. So you're kind of using these Monday highs and Monday lows as like indication for what am I expecting moving forward. When we're above them, you're expecting expansion for the rest of the week. When you're still in between them, all it's implying is you're probably going to trade within these two regions for the rest of the week somewhere, right? In some sort of fashion. And of course, if you're below, you're expecting expansion below for the rest of the week. So the time when I went to go use them, which was probably a couple weeks ago, they were completely irrelevant. Like it was not a good example at all. Uh, but no, this is a much cleaner example. So I'm glad you're here to point that out.
Yeah, they don't work every single week, but
Yeah,
when they work pretty well.
the same thing, right? You have a static approach to the market. You have a system. You have a style, right? For me, it's moving averages and gray boxes and market structure, and you approach with that exact same strategy and style and you know TA
Yeah.
system every single time until it stops working. And then when it stops working, you have to acknowledge, hey, this ain't working. I need to change something. Um, do you guys have anything for me or Martian? Do you want us to take a look at charts? I can give Martian. I can let him take over and he can start charting some stuff for you. We get paid to do this, so I mean, don't be shy.
You said that Mana and Sand were trending, right? I sent out Adam and Luna to the website, but Mana is also looking quite nice.
Mana kind of looks the same. I don't know if they're trending. I don't know if that's the proper term. They might be trending.
I don't know.
I don't think they're really trending, but they are the
Like,
top performers.
yeah,
So, I mean, there's
they're
that.
still up
They
year to
bounced the
date, I think.
highest. Congratulations, Bulls. They bounced the highest. No, 4 hour market structure for Mana is currently consolidation. Shout out to all my pattern traders. Depswo, if you're watching this. I'm sure he isn't.
Pattern traders, yeah.
Sideways triangle, and all that's really saying is, hey, we're forming lower highs and higher lows. So if you break down, now you're forming lower highs and lower lows. If you break up, now you're forming higher highs and higher lows. That's all that's saying, right? So if you do that, then you probably
Those
assume.
patterns are so fucked, bro.
I know I don't like patterns. I don't ever use them. But that's kind of how I like to explain things. Uh, but yeah, from there you can look for that tiny little scalp long into like 240ish region for mana. You also have your hourly 200s yet again. Pretty solid support and resistance just at first glance and locally. So reclaiming them probably means, right? You can expect here. That's where the real fun starts, is when you start to reclaim this supply zone. Looks like daily supply to me, maybe 4 hour supply. And at that point, you're kind of just taking things level to level until you reach whatever the higher time frame trend is, which would be uh, hour 200s. Right, macro bottom or bottoms, macro tops, bottoms too. Yeah, pretty nice. I like them. So macro tops, and at that point, you're just kind of taking things level to level, assuming, hey, maybe this little bit of strength leads into test of 240. If we reclaim that, maybe that leads into a test of 270 with our 4 hour 200s. If we reclaim that, then this time's different. I need to be bullish on mana. I need to, buy myself a nice little spot bag. I need to look to long the pullbacks, whatever, into 305, maybe even 345, maybe even 480. Who knows? Maybe price discovery, whatever, right? That's the way that I would kind of look at it. So, from a trend perspective, it's essentially the exact same analysis that we made on Bitcoin. The only thing that's different here is that you're trading a very volatile altcoin. And if Bitcoin goes up and this altcoin also goes up, right? Because usually the market's going to do whatever Bitcoin's doing, this might just bounce higher. And that's it because it's been not showing strength. That's the proper term, or that's the improper term, but it has been bouncing higher. It's been the bigger gainer. So you probably want to look to long these. The other one is sand, which if I had to guess looks the exact same. Right? Oh look, Mercury's price ranges. We're just assuming from this level into the next, from that level into the next, from that level into the next. Pretty damn good. Assuming the worst, praying for the best. Now from a high time frame, pretty major loss here. Daily demand zone, which also means pretty important if you do manage to reclaim it, right? Because at that point, starting to look like this move is a fluke, and you can start targeting whatever the next daily supply zone is. So that would be maybe somewhere over there, and then you might have some 4-hour supply somewhere in this region, and then maybe potential price discovery. I'm thinking this is just the same sort of structure as mana. 4-hour 200s, pretty solid. Macro bottoms, macro tops, local trend, very relevant. And hourly 200s, if we're going to use those, also pretty damn relevant. This looks pretty good. So like for this, you could maybe justify taking an entry now with a stop below your consolidation structure, below the hourly 200s, and hoping that we do break out from the consolidation. And by all means, you can do the same thing for mana as well. You can do the same thing for Bitcoin as well. You're just more likely to be right if this continues, right? If we
Yeah,
show a
I was
little bit
looking at
more
the same.
strength, yeah, so a little bit more strength in the form of, hey, our consolidation structure, which is not clean by any means. It's not a clean market structure. It's technically higher highs and higher lows, but for the most part, I think everybody can agree this is kind of like choppy. Kind of same thing as mana, same thing as Bitcoin. If we create that higher high, then you're going to perceive yourself to have a better chance of getting this move up, right? I start to feel pretty comfy. Even if I enter now, I feel a lot comfier when we're right there. And it's not because, oh, look, my position's in profit. I flipped the coin and it's playing out. It's because you're perceiving probabilities and trading the TA. So you can maybe justify taking a trade here, and then who knows, maybe if the RR isn't really all that worse, then you can look for the trade slightly higher. Right, you start to get above these highs. So 2.5R, and we perceive this to be a lot more probable versus 4R, and we perceive this to be kind of like 50-50. That's the way that I'm seeing it. All right. Anything that you guys want to add? Do you want Martian to take over? He's hardly ever here, guys. You got to make him work. He's had it too easy right now. Nobody wants to punish Martian. Martian, if you're talking, I can't hear you.
Nobody. Yeah, I'm here. Very quiet.
All right, guys. I think we'll just go ahead and get out of here then. Oh, BTFD. All right. NMR. 4-hour 200s. I'd like to get your take. All right.
NMR.
I don't even know what this coin is.
Numbers?
Is it really called numbers?
Mm, I don't know. NMR. Wait. Why is this chart looking like Scamwix? Wait. Are you looking at the Binance? Look at the Binance chart. Are you in a
This is
Binance
Binance
chart?
chart. Yeah, this is.
My God, those are 24% daily wicks on almost every week.
Yeah. I won't lie to you, BTFD. Just based off of that alone, I hardly ever use volume, but it is here always in case I ever need to turn it on. I don't want to trade this. There's no reason for me to look to trade this. It's just too illogical. When you have such low volume on this shit, you're not hoping on TA or trends or probabilities or anything because all that stuff relies on other market participants, right? You're relying on, oh, maybe some random mega whale decides he just wants to buy a shit ton of NMR today, right? After not buying for the past 3 months. Look at that volume.
Very,
It's just
very liquid.
atrocious, right? Yeah, it's so illiquid that like you can't really give your TA the greatest amount of respect. You kind of have to acknowledge that my TA is probably not going to hold up all too well. So the TA perspective is, however, you have daily demand here, you have daily supply here, you have daily supply here. You can trade the levels, and that's fair play, right? But it's I wouldn't ever expect it to be clean. Like this is a 10% move up above that region. This is another scam wick. This, like, what the hell is even this? I don't even know, right? We went from level to level. Sure, congratulations. We did so in one daily candle. So, you know, analysis held up, but what degree, right? I just wouldn't really look to be paying too much attention to this. This would be like if I'm looking to play NMR, I'd be looking to play with a very small like gamble bag. Like whatever you consider like this is my gamble bag. Maybe it's $100, maybe it's a grand if you're a whale, maybe it's like 20 grand, whatever. But
NMR is giving me pump and dump group vibes.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, if you want to buy the daily demand because it's daily demand, sure, but I would just play with a position size where like if you lose all of it, you don't really care because at that point, right, we're seeing 50% wicks on this coin. Like you kind of just got to assume as soon as you enter, like I might lose all of it because who knows, maybe it just dumps 50% in one daily candle, right? So, and then if you're using stop losses, good luck to you. I can't imagine how much you hate your life if you're using stop losses on this. Like, by God, man, right? It's probably not a fun time for you. Look at that. You tested the trend, great. You got waked out. So are we bearish retesting the 4-hour 200s or are we, reclaiming them as support? Can't tell you. Because I don't know what's going on here. I couldn't have told you what's going on here. Generally, we can see that this is obviously a downtrend. This is generally support. This is generally supply. 4-hour 200s generally get respected, but we can't say anything more than just generally, right? Like, and generally in this form is like a 30% range, right? So, at the end of the day, maybe that analysis is helpful to you, maybe it's not, but truthfully, I probably wouldn't even look to trade this at all. And if I would be looking to trade this, I would treat it as if I'm going to the casino and I'm in Vegas and I have a lot of cash in my pocket that maybe it becomes more than what it is and maybe I lose all of it. And either way, I don't really care. Right. I'm just looking to take risks because I enjoy taking risk and it's fun, gives me adrenaline, whatever. That's the way that I would look at this. Do you agree, Martian, for the most part?
Yeah, this is the I like to lose money chart.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
I mean,
By
the
any
pump happened
chance,
out of nowhere. I think if you zoom into like a 50-minute candle or something, I think everything happened in like half an hour or something. Not really. Yeah,
Yeah.
look at it. I don't know, dude. Doesn't seem.
And look, I mean, it's so illiquid
Yeah,
that
you don't even see candles, bro.
you don't even
Sometimes
see
there's
the
just
candles.
nobody
Yeah,
in
this just
50 minutes.
oh my gosh.
Where are the traders at, bro? Are they on vacation?
They all decided to buy on January
Yeah,
27th at 1:30 in the morning. Yeah. This chart screams some pump and dump group shilled this right here after like buying in this region. Marshall, you got a question for you in live stream chat. I do not
yeah.
know the
I
answer
thought
to.
that. Yeah, yeah. He's still in algo. I'm pretty sure we talked about it like 2 days ago. I think I put it in live stream chat as well, of him live market updates. Um, yeah, he is still in algo. It's one of those better looking altcoin charts. Same like
I mean,
FTM, Luna,
yeah, just
you
because the
know.
weekly is still bullish at the
Yeah,
very
the weekly is
least,
still.
like you can't say that about. You can't even say that for Bitcoin. Well, I guess
Uh,
maybe you could. No, maybe you
you can
can't.
make an
If you're looking,
argument.
yeah, if you're looking at this as the higher low on the weekly, then sure, you can make that argument. Fair.
I mean, I think it's gonna be so choppy for the next 3 months on Bitcoin. Yeah, pretty key level here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that point 86, 87 level. But once again, if Bitcoin starts to maybe break
Definitely
down below 35.5. Oh yeah, the pattern. The
consolidation
pattern is there,
structure,
bro.
right? Yeah, exactly. Some people are going to look at this and tell you bear flag. Some people are going to look at this and tell you bull flag. Some people are going to tell
Yeah.
you symmetrical
Ascending
triangle. Well,
triangle.
yeah, whatever they're going to tell you, just know that you're
You're
implying
making it.
sideways. You're implying that you're going to find a lower high lower than this high, and you're going to find a higher low higher than this low. So once you stop doing that, then come in and say, okay, well, we're probably going to head up to this region, or okay, we're probably going to head down to this region, maybe even break down below there, head to the next weekly demand zone, which is like 70 cents. So I think Jacob's trade was more of like a long-term perspective sort of thing, where he was just looking
Yeah,
to
for
get
sure.
some capital into the market after being pretty much not exposed since like November. But that's my lower time frame analysis. And then what is this doing? Hourly 200s?
Seems like
Oh
it had
man,
just.
this is actually really clean. This looks like you
Yeah.
could trade this for hourly 200s. I want to see something like that. That might be a nice little long scalp. This is where I would ideally look to put my stop. That's not that great of an RR. Maybe you could justify it being like over here. That'd be a solid trade. This is ideally where I'd want my stop loss. That is not a solid trade because my RR does not really, do anything for me, even though probabilities are what I perceive to be pretty solid. And maximum potential is like a test of the higher time frame trend, which might not even be 4-hour 200s, honestly. Well, got some supply there too. All right, now I'm rambling. I'm sorry.
Squiggly lines.
Yeah, squiggly lines.
Bum, bum, bum. It just seems like it needs some time time to cool off.
The whole market. Say that
Yeah.
about the entire market.
I mean, look
That's
at
easy.
FTM USD. and the daily, even daily structure is still intact. I mean, yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's 4 hour, but yeah,
yeah. See, like this, you could still argue, like, hey, at the very least, we're still creating higher highs and higher lows in the weekly.
maybe you could set some buys at 170. That's your daily 200 EMA and your daily support, right?
Hold on, I can't think if there's a bunch of gray boxes everywhere, and these gray boxes are different colors. That bothers me, but whatever. What did you say? 170,
Yeah,
200
maybe
daily moving
yeah,
averages.
170,
Yeah, I would
150.
probably, yeah, I would account for like this general region as well. So if I'm bidding this, I'm bidding like this entire region, and my stop,
Yeah, it's the
my true
same kind of
invalidation is like below these lows.
it's like the same loon as this Luna and Atom on a website. You set your
Oh
stop
yeah.
losses below those daily uh your last daily lows.
Oh, is that what you're trading on, Adam and Luna?
Yeah, Atom stop loss is below
Okay, you are
yeah,
doing that.
Luna stop loss was below 3750. That's right below
Oh,
that.
okay. So you're trading below these lows. Okay. Yeah.
I think if that breaks that level, then we're in for more downside.
Yeah. I would say once you start to get below here, but again, you're not trying to be a genius bottom caller. You're just kind of saying like there's probably support somewhere in this region, and we have
Yeah,
200 dailies along with that. So let's just bid this general zone, and
buy
then
zone was
maybe we get a
also
relief
kind of
bounce.
big.
Yeah,
Yeah,
makes sense. And then Atom, same thing. Atom, I think is
I got my stop loss for Atom
pretty good.
below. Yeah, it's not below the daily low, but
So I mean,
it's at the wait.
it's definitely pretty obvious from a very high time for perspective. Like when the entire market looks like shit, all you have
Yeah,
to
you
do
want
is
a bit
come in and say
strength.
like, okay, this at the very least is still uptrending on the weekly. So maybe there's a better chance of like if everything bounces, maybe this is going to bounce higher, or maybe this is going to bounce, maybe we can reclaim some sort of local trend. So 200
My
dailies,
Atom
yeah,
stop
these are
loss
pretty
is
solid.
below the low from December 29th.
Is that
No,
below
it's
this low?
that
Okay.
low.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
I mean, the daily, yeah, I think if the daily 200 fails, then we'll get probably the same kind of chop as in December 21st. Uh, yeah, December 21st.
Yeah, makes sense. Actually, I want to delete that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you lose 25 bucks, basically you will go to 21 at least,
yeah, it seems likely.
maybe
I would
even
argue
lower.
even like 16. Yeah,
But yeah, Bitcoin is putting a lot of pressure on the market. Oh, Atom BTC actually. Hmm. Kind of breaking below 4 hour, but the weekly chart is very weird.
yeah.
Not sure what to
The,
make out of this. I
I
think
would.
the whole
I kind of just.
Bitcoin pair trading is over.
This is where I kind of just come in and say we have a range,
Yeah,
like a 3 year long, 2 year long range. This should be the breakout retest of that range. This should be the expansion away from the range.
yeah,
But then you look at the stock market, right? And then you're like, okay, well, how
yeah,
likely is it that some random altcoin, like the U.S. economy,
yeah,
collapses and everyone's
yeah.
like, all right,
People lose their
let me,
jobs and their
right,
houses, but no, sir, Atom is
right,
going up only.
yeah. So, uh, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, that was so confusing, right? About March 2020. Like, so okay, we got a declared pandemic, but we're going up only. What's going on here?
Yeah, it was like after the FUD kind of hit its
Yeah,
peak, everybody capitulates and whatever. It's like you can't get worse than that. I think
yeah. When everyone is selling
here's
and
my since I've been macro bearish for the past 3 months and everybody hates me. Here's my bullish argument. When and if the Fed does decide to rate hike or hike rates, I always fucking say that.
that's the bottom.
Yeah, that's the bottom. Like once it actually happens, after everyone's anticipating, this is gonna be so bad, they're gonna just keep being hawkish, blah blah blah, whatever. That's the bottom. And then
That's your counter trade.
yeah. So we'll see. But that's my bullish argument. Let the fear
You know,
hit its peak and then
you know what's funny? You know, everyone hates like Arthur Hayes, right? Everyone hates him
yeah.
because of BitMEX and all the crap happened in 2017. But there was this guy that kept us from going to zero, bro. And
Yeah.
this guy at FTX, this Alameda, he's launching all these shit coins on Solana ecosystem,
Yeah.
and they're all going to they are literally going to zero, and everyone loves him.
Yeah. Gets
So
glorified.
weird. Yeah.
My thing is Arthur Hayes. Somebody I very arrogantly was shit posting on Twitter and saying, "Wow, we're going down. It's almost as if a billionaire who owns one of the most notorious crypto exchanges in the entire world and has probably tons of like friends who also do that and insider information and probably has a very good understanding of macroeconomics told us this would happen. It's almost as if, right? Twice. Once at the exact top and once at like what 47K ish. So it's
Yeah.
almost as if that happened. Yeah. Um, but we'll see. It's always fun to shit post. Looks USD. The way that I see this is just a range at the moment. I wouldn't get too caught up calling for anything too crazy until we do something along these lines above these range highs, and then from there, I would say you have pretty good potential for a move up into like this sort of 4 hour resistance. And then from there, I don't really see anything. You have volume spike here, but I don't really see a zone. Uh, After that, I would just kind of assume price discovery. And until then,
Oh, that's a new coin.
yeah, this is the new
Yeah.
looks is
You
the
know, with these
new
new coins,
NFT
they
exchange.
usually hunt those lows, right? Those listing lows at what's the low from this coin? Like 260?
This 260.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They will usually
we'll
go
see.
for the low before putting in any macro trend.
I would just look for a range at the moment. And that's about it. Can we use hourly 200s? My honest assessment is no. Do they get respected? Is it just coincidence? I don't know. I don't have enough price action to really base it
Yeah,
off
it's
of.
just too new,
Yeah, it's too new.
I would say.
Had a couple other requests. We did
Where's his
FTN
looks? Looks, is it from OpenSea?
from. Oh yeah, that was the looks is the airdrop from if you used
Uh,
OpenSea.
yeah, yeah. Mm.
Maverick is Rose dead now? Would love to get back in Rose, but I don't think it's allowed to
Calling
anymore.
out my shit coins, yeah. Hey, hey. What shit coins? What about Rose? Is Rose dead? Hmm.
See.
Is it? I don't know. Rose. Uh,
Well,
well, no,
here's the
it's
thing.
kind of
It's dead to me because it's not uptrending and
yeah.
it's not holding any sort of uptrend. And we
It's
just
not
recently
alive
put
if
in,
it's not up trading.
yeah, yeah. so, so
I
Pretty
think a lot
much.
of things are dead in your life.
Everything is dead right now to me. That's why, dude. That's why, like, market starts
Bro,
downtrending, I go on vacation. And my
everything is
girlfriend's
dead.
like, "Hey, can you hang out tonight?" And I'm like, I look at the market and number go down, and we lose 4-hour 200s and whatnot, and daily market
Yeah,
structure
Marcus
is
is dead.
nowhere
I'm
high.
coming.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Yeah, I got time. Let's hang out."
Rose at 25 cents, looking good.
um, yeah, 25 cents. Yeah,
Yeah.
higher time frame trend. Again, 200 daily moving averages. Can you use those? Nah, right. I can't really justify it. Don't really have enough price action, but more like 22 cents for me. Maybe 4-hour demand zone around 24-ish. That's the way that I'm seeing it. Um, but it is essentially dead to me, and here's why. If you're gonna keep uptrending on Rose, that's where you do it, right? So that's your ideal reentry point. That's also your high time frame invalidation. So on a very high time frame perspective, if you're holding spot or whatever, you're hopefully de-risking maybe on the way up, and I would hope so on the way up because that 2.618 fib got tapped perfectly. Fibs are magic. I'm going to come in here and tell you that because I'm biased. So hopefully de-risking on the way up. If not, de-risking on signs of weakness. So that's like losing a more local trend, right? So somewhere in this region, maybe. I would hope maybe in this region. And then this is your ideal, hey, all the profit you took here and maybe here, re-add it right here. And then once you lose that, oh, okay, Rose is dead. Like I need to get the fuck out. I'm gonna assume that we head into 35 cents. And then below 35, I'm gonna assume that we head into 30. And then below 30, I'm gonna assume we get to 22. And we're just gonna keep that mentality. So essentially to me, yes, we are at daily support. Does it make sense to be a buyer at daily support? Sure, absolutely. Go for it. You could argue it starts to become less and less appealing after one, two, three, four, 5 times, but daily support is daily support, right? We're supposed to bounce from this region. That makes sense. So if you want to buy daily support, go for it. Do not expect uptrend though. To me, this is absolutely dead. If it really does
Completely dead.
die, yeah, if it really does die, you're going to thank yourself. You're going to sit pretty for the next however many months. This is exactly what we said this is November on Bitcoin. You're going to sit pretty for the rest of who knows how long. If it doesn't die and it reclaims all over again, because remember, we are making the exact same analysis here. The one that I just told you here, I'm telling you the exact same thing here. I may be telling you that this time is different here. I'm telling you, hey, you're getting chopped up here, right? So we're making relatively the same argument, and it ended up being really, in hindsight, nothing. Like it wasn't all too big of a deal. We tapped daily
Maybe we
support,
can,
reversed, showed
yeah,
strength.
maybe we can start to reanimate Rose at 23 cents or something,
But
something like that.
um, that's my sort of take on it. In the low time frame, this is where I would be looking for like a sign of weakness. So um, really, it's not even doesn't even seem like it's hourly 200s. Might be something more like 30-minute. It seems a lot cleaner to me. So this is what I would be falling back on. So like you even have, if we're breaking things down, you have the way that I think about it: a high time frame trend, a low time frame trend, and a oh my god, this is going vertical trend, right? So at this point, you're not using your low time frame trend because your low time frame trend is the 30-minute 200s. They act as local bottoms, and then when you're below them, we got chopped up. Maverick, you asked me for Rose USDT analysis. We talked about this all the time. So chopped up, you had to adjust, blah blah blah, whatever, and then readjust. Local top, local top, local top. This time's different. Since that this time's different, local trend reclaim, hey, the high time frame bottom at our high time frame trend, this is quite obviously the bottom in hindsight now. Um, let's get back and ride the wave. Since that, You didn't use your low time frame trend. You used this is fucking parabolic. We're going vertical trend, whatever it was. Once that breaks, you could de-risk there, but at the very least, I would think you de-risk at your lower time frame trend being lost. So somewhere along this region, right? Into you're assuming the higher time frame trend, wherever that is. Maybe it was 40 cents. Yeah. But into this region, you're assuming that we get there, and you re-add. And if below, you cut. But now you're not just de-risking. In my opinion, this is the way that I approach things. Now you're not just de-risking. Now you're assuming the worst, right? If we're going to find a higher low in our daily, what's the ideal spot to do that at? Well, probably the 4-hour 200s. Those are pretty significant. So if we don't hold the 4-hour 200s, where do we find a higher low in our daily? Well, we probably don't, and we didn't, right? This is a lower low. So if we put in a lower low and now we're below the trend, and every single time frame is telling us downtrend, 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 where do we stop? The honest answer is I don't know. I don't know where we stop. Maybe it is 30 cents. Maybe it's 21. Maybe it's 13. Maybe we keep going, right? I don't know. All I know is I don't want to participate in that pain, in that pain and suffering. So essentially, once you de-risk here, you're still trading the trend just on a much bigger time frame, right? So you're still macro bullish, short-term bearish into this region. And once this region is lost, Rose is now dead to me. I stopped looking at the chart. So if you like looking at Rose and you enjoy the fundamentals, you want to own more Rose, whatever, I am that person at 30 cents, at 21 cents, at 13 cents, right? That's the exact same person that got rewarded this time around very well, right? Very handsomely. Massive reward, 5x, whatever. No, 2x, 3x. That's the exact same person that got rewarded here. If it works, you're going to get rewarded. And that's the mentality that I would approach with. If you just, I don't care what price Rose is at. I just want to own more Rose. I believe in the fundamentals, whatever, which I am not that person. If you are, I'm looking for, levels where maybe other people will have that same feeling. But since I'm not, Rose is essentially dead to me as soon as it broke down below 39 cents. Is it creeping into your nightmares? Let's all remember. Merc going on vacation started the downtrend.
Yeah, that's great.
That's hilarious. Sorry, guys. Next time I go on vacation, it'll be, hey, I have so much buying power. We're so heavily allocated to the market, and this time is so obviously different. I'm just gonna throw my money into the market and just look away for the next, 3 weeks, and I'll catch you guys later. So, Merc going on vacation is a top signal and a bottom signal from now on. No,
Your
that's not
trend
true.
reversals,
That's
that's your trend reversal signal.
just like the moon, right?
The moon cycle, bro.
Maverick,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like the moon.
Just like the moon.
Which, by the way, our friend Marin is telling us the 1st of February is the new moon, which I think is downside. I don't know.
Wasn't Trading Room posting it as well?
Yeah.
Did you see that 69-day cycle or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Let me check.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, I saw that chart. If you can send it in here, it'd be cool to
Yeah,
take
it
a
was
look at.
pretty interesting, right? Where is it?
And Trading Room
Oh yeah.
is, for those of you who don't know, me and Martian are mentors, or our mentor is Jacob, but Jacob's mentor is Trading Room. So like he's goat level status.
The upper goat.
Yeah, like there's levels to this shit, right?
Yeah, you said February. Oh no, it was January 25th. So he's telling every 96 days there's like a
Trend
trend
reversal.
reversal. It's either to the downside or to the upside.
It's interesting. He has a sample size of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's cool. It'd be incredible if it plays out. Who knows? Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be interesting.
Bitcoin is posting significant tops and bottoms around these dates. I mean,
You know,
maybe
Trading Room is a market maker for the Asian Stock Exchange.
yeah,
That that's insane.
pretty
That's crazy.
pretty big ass. Mm-mm.
Marin said May something was a big one. Yeah, I think she did say that. It's actually
Who's Marin? Am I missing something?
Marin Altman, the witch on Twitter. Dude,
Oh, the wait.
no, she's actually really cool.
I don't even think I'm following her. Marin.
So, to what I think, she said something about like May 16th or something, and that was May 19th was this crazy, capitulation, right? So it's like, okay, well, she kind of called that pretty nicely. And then she said July 25th, and July 24th is the same day that we reclaimed the 4-hour 200s. That's why I came in and notoriously like tagged everybody and was like, "Go fucking read today's market update. It's so important." And then we kickstart, into a new all-time high.
Oh,
So
I
like
remember that fucking choppiness, bro. That
like
was cool.
that's I don't know, man. Like I don't know if the moon shit is real or not, but you don't make that up, right? Like you can't make that up. She tweeted that in January that May 16th and July 25th are important dates, and she pinned it to her profile, and then it like played out. And I'm like, what?
What
And
the
then she
hell? Are
said,
you from the future?
yeah, I guess. And she said
Mm,
December 31st was an important date. That's that. I mean, I guess maybe. I mean, like, I don't give you credit for that because we're just kind of downtrending. Like, doesn't really mean anything. But yeah, I think now she's saying May something. It was pretty cool. May 10th. Yeah, yeah, that's the tweet.
May 10th.
BTC May 16th and July 25th. Fucking take note. 9,000 likes. Yeah, I'd be clout claiming the shit out of that too if I were her. It's crazy.
Fucking take note.
Fucking take note. You hear that, Martian? Fucking take note.
Yeah. Fucking take note, bro.
Stop using market structure. Stop using moving
Yeah.
averages.
Just take note.
Yeah. If it's a new
Marin,
moon, number go down. If it's a full moon, number go up.
take note.
Fucking take note. All right, guys. Today's stream has been a lot more jokey. I blame Martian for that. Can you guys
I
join
bet.
host every time, please? Yeah. Uh, well, it's Friday. We're heading into the weekend. What do you mean? How do you
When
spell Marin? I just
podcast?
spelled it.
Hey, when podcast, bro.
uh, great stream today. Yeah, it's a nice feel good stream. Everybody's heading into the weekend. We all feel good. We're all pretty comfortable with where the price action's at.
Ooh,
Everybody's
Dave
nice and
Portnoy bought 30 bitcoins right now.
who?
Dave Portnoy, that
Oh, so we topped.
guy from Bar. Yeah, we topped. From
Dude, he
Barstool Sports.
capitulated. He
Yeah,
capitulated
yeah.
for
At the
like a
bottom.
30% loss at like 9K or something. That's not bullish.
That's not
Anything.
El
That makes me want
Presidente. Yeah.
that makes me want
Mm,
to dig into my ledger that I've been DCAing into for the past
yeah.
5 years and start selling. Uh,
Average entry 36,925. Oh well.
all right, guys. I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Send you guys off to your weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's stream. Very nice, very jokey, lots of laughs. Shout out to Martian for joining us. Much love. Um,
Shout out to me for the laughs.
yeah, usually it's just me laughing at myself, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they laugh and maybe they don't.
Very, very awkward.
So take care, everybody. Thank you so much for giving us your time on this Friday, and we'll talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend.